Happy Tuesday night, folks. Welcome to the Heroes Media Group Podcast Network. We are getting ready to fire up the Doc Talk. We've got a couple guys from Team Nucanoe stopping in here, fellow teammates of mine. Super excited to have these guys join us on the show. One guy's been on the show several times, and we got a new guest to welcome into the whole thing here. Neither one of these guys are new to kayak fishing, though. This is going to be awesome stuff. Stick with us. Let's go ahead and get the Doc Talk fired up. Happy Tuesday night, folks. Welcome to another episode of the TPO Doc Talk podcast. Episode 16, man. It doesn't seem real. Season 5 here. Dude, we've just been clicking these things off and just doing them once a week. I think earlier on we had a couple going there. The library's starting to build up, so we might get back into doing that 2 times a week thing. We'll have to see how that folds out here. This week we are live. So if you're tuning in here, we appreciate you. Please feel free. Jump in on the comments, ask questions, throw shade, whatever you want to do. It's all good. General shenanigans are usually accepted here on the Doc Talk. That's part of what we got going here. Before we get going too much further here, let's go ahead and pay the bills here. As always, each one of these shows being brought to you by the Romans Warrior Foundation. This entire podcast made possible. The TPO is made possible because of the Romans Warrior Foundation, our extended family over there. Go check them out at Romans Warrior Foundation. Hashtag helping is healing. Got the GWAT wall, the field ops, Stop 22, Hoosiers with Hearts. A lot of divisions, a lot of sister organizations inside that whole thing operating around this. With bringing healing across this country in many ways, fashions, and forms. Go check them out, Romans Warrior Foundation. If you find it within your heart there, please feel free to make a donation to the foundation, and it will go to one of those programs. If you want to dog ear some of that, you can also do that as well. So we thank those guys over there. And of course, Heroes Media Group, Adam Bird, and all of the great podcasts that are on this network, man. Go check them out at Heroes Media Group. You can find them at Facebook there and go to the website and you can see each one of the podcasts. We all have our own page with a feed to the audio forms, the shows themselves. All of that stuff is basically listed out there. And there are some amazing, awesome podcasts that are on there with just designed all around the veteran life, man. And first responder life, talking about issues, talking about more things like what we do, which is the outdoors space, alternative healing, just different topics, you name it. There's a show out there on the Heroes Media Group probably that you would definitely be interested in. So make sure to check those guys out. All right, the bills are paid. We got this thing done. Now, as y'all know, I'm part of Team Nucanoe. Very proud to be a part of a veteran-owned, American-made kayak. That is available out there, and not to mention the fact that the thing, in my opinion, is just the ultimate fishing machine, the Unlimited. And I've got a couple guys that are in the wings here. We're going to bring in the first guy here, who's brand new to our show, but is definitely no stranger to doing the podcast circuit out there. He's been around on quite a few of those. Let's go ahead and bring in Mr. Michael, and let's see if I can pronounce that last name right. Ridenour. Let's see if I'm right. Mike, did I get it right? Ridenour?
It's close. It's Ridenour.
Ridenour. Gotcha. I've murdered.
Right. And that's everybody's stumbles on that one.
I've murdered some names, brother. I'll tell you that. I mean, it just happens there for sure.
Right. It's my whole life.
Perfect. Well, welcome to the show, man. Thank you for taking time and joining us here.
Thanks for having me, Gene.
Of course, man. Of course. So to get set the stage here, something I just discovered this evening as you were coming on here. You, sir, are a United States Marine. That is awesome stuff. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Betcha. When did you serve?
97 to 02. I was at the very end of 8th Motors when they merged into 2nd Transportation Support Battalion at Camp Lejeune.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, good times. Still talk to a lot of my brothers and sisters from that. That's the one great thing about social media. We've got a a group chat that quite a few of us, I think 32 of us are in, and we communicate pretty regularly, a couple times a week, and it's good to stay in touch with those friends. Any military member, I mean, they understand it's just different. It's family, so.
And that's a statement you don't hear very often, but I love that. And that is one great thing about social media, right? I mean, we don't really talk about that so often, but like anything else, man, and you have this statement actually in one of your profiles, is that you get out of stuff what you put into it, man. And I couldn't, follow that and just feel that any deeper if I tried. Is that, yeah, you're right. There's negatives that come with this crap, but that doesn't mean we have to entertain them or engage them. There's so many cool things that can come from it, and
Yeah.
that's one, staying in contact like that.
Yeah, and I feel that's it's so relative to every aspect of life, from your family to your career to it spills over into fishing, and I really feel like it's that's the one statement that encompasses all of that, is you get out of what you put into it. So
Yeah. And isn't that true about our sport more than ever? That one of the things I love about our sport is how it weeds out the non-packers, man. There
yeah,
is no shortcut. There just isn't. You can YouTube till you're blue in the face. You can spend all the money in the world you want and put yourself in 6 ways of debt. It still isn't going to take away from it, nor will it replace time on the water.
nothing replaces time on the water.
Yeah, you got to put the time in. You got to go to work, and I love that about our sport. How because and trust me, I've been victim of this. I've thought myself to be smarter than the average, cookie, and I've tried to, cut corners, and yeah, every time I pay the price for it.
I
So
feel like my story is probably like so many out there. When I got into kayak fishing, I thought I was one of the greatest fishermen I knew, and that that I got humbled pretty quickly. Uh, I realized I didn't know nothing about fishing that I thought I did, but I wasn't going to let it beat me. I wasn't going to let some fish beat me either. I dove in with both feet, like I do everything, and I still do to this day. I don't think I've eased up on the gas at all, and I was blessed with an amazing wife, because I think any other woman would have went plumb crazy by now, with the amount of map studies, and she falls asleep to me doing map studies or YouTubing and just research, and just I literally left corporate America with a very good salary and a company that supported my fishing when I decided I was going to go on the national circuit, and they allowed me to fish a lot, but I didn't feel like it was enough. I learned pretty early on that time on water is what's going to get me to where I need to be, and I wanted to jumpstart that. So come up with a business model, and approached a good friend of mine with it, and we became partners and started up Eastern Rental Company. It's a gas and oil service company. We rent heavy equipment, rig mats to them, and also that when the equipment's out on rent, there's not a lot to do. So uh, it opened up to, I don't know, 150 to 200 plus days a year on the water. So, and I took advantage of every bit of it I could. So
heck yeah, man.
I've noticed my fishing career's catapulted since then. I mean, it really does. You spend that kind of time in rain, snow, sleet, hail, it doesn't matter. Sunshine, 110, doesn't matter. As long as you're objectively doing it with the open mind that you're learning something.
I love it.
You're not out there just aimlessly casting and hoping that you catch a fish. So I want to hopefully continue this momentum, though. It's really starting to unravel when I look back to just 4 years ago when I started this, and how far I've come in 4 years. And this will be my fifth season, 2025. First
Awesome.
year with Team Nucanoe. Super excited for that. My pro shop, Sportsman's Emporium, sells native, bonafide, and new canoe, and the owner of that shop's a diehard new canoe guy.
Love it.
And I I've been with Native for several years, and he telling me like, you just need to get out of it and try one. And then I don't know. I got out of native this year and decided, I want to see what this unlimited is all about. So it's
I tell people all the time, it's not, we're not saying that other kayaks aren't good. There's some great kayaks running out there.
yeah,
But people assume, I think sometimes when they see the unlimited, the price point where it's at, they assume that it's like some econo rig. And like
right.
we try to tell people, no, man, there's just not a lot of overhead here. We don't, Blake has
Yeah.
gone to great lengths to keep these prices legitimate and reasonable for folks. And this is the ultimate
And
fishing
that's just
machine, man.
for the price you pay of a basic, any other brand, really, when you start buying their top tier kayaks, every company out there, I think, has a top tier that spills into that above 2,000 plus range, 2,500, 3,000 plus, 4,000 plus range. They all have them. And
Yep.
I've been in about all of them at some point or another. And to be able to fully rig this boat for the same price that you're buying a plain boat, and I mean rig it.
Yep.
Anybody that knows me knows I'm a little extra, I guess you could say. And,
You're a tournament angler, man. Of course we are.
all right.
More bells, more
So-
bells.
Yeah, I showed up at some of the Bassmaster events, and I got the new boat whips hanging off the back of my kayak, and I want to make a statement, make sure everybody knows I'm there. So
That's awesome.
it'll be good to see it on the Nucanoe, lighting that thing up. Everybody will definitely be able to see it.
That's so cool. So cool. Now, where are you coming to us from right now? Where is home base at?
So home base, Fairmont, West Virginia. It's a little town just outside of Morgantown, home of the Mountaineers.
Awesome.
Grew up here, about 10 minutes from here. My mom, dad, sisters, all of them still live here in this area. And after I got out of the service, I moved to Kentucky for a little while. And then I didn't think I'd ever really come back here, but I was only in Kentucky about a year and came back home and never left. So
Nice. It's a beautiful section of the country, man. My wife and I have gotten close to that area in some traveling here and there, and yeah, absolutely love that section of the country. It's beautiful. You still get your seasons over there for sure. What's your temps looking like right now after this polar
it's
mess?
probably about 9 degrees outside right now. So I think the high got up to 21 today, 9 tonight, high tomorrow, maybe 20. So
See, you're colder than I am, and I'm in Colorado, brother. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
hit like 30s, upper 30s, 40s today, and so yeah, it's but
Kissimmee
we got a
not
cold
getting
one coming,
fast enough.
right? Yeah, a cold front to them is like 60 degrees. They're like, ooh, brr.
Yeah, right. Right.
The fish don't know how to handle this. Shut up.
I'm coming down the days to head south.
Right. Yeah, I was just talking to Buzz. We did an interview with him. His interview will be going off next week. It'll be airing, and Buzz was talking that their warms and that they get down there in Florida, and that's like he's a real estate agent. So I was thinking, hey man, condo. Maybe I can convince the wife to come down to Florida, for a little bit. Maybe 3 months out of the year. Because he's like an hour from just epic, F1 strain fish everywhere.
Right.
I'm like, I'm up here doing videos on how to drop shot for noobs because I'm a complete drop shot noob myself. I hate finesse fishing, so that's all I'm doing is because it's like, that's if you.
Wait, I'm in that same boat. I cannot stand to throw a drop shot. And I've tried, and I've just not been successful. So obviously, I don't have any confidence in it. But I'm a power fisherman at heart. I will slow down, have to sometimes, to pick up those finishers. But if you see me throwing a drop shot, know that everything else I own is probably at the bottom of the lake already.
Broke or something.
Broke or just it fell overboard somehow.
So
Yeah.
before I got here, because a couple guys up north there, I mean, they use drop shot on those smallies up there, or drop shot in weed edges, and grabbing 5 and 6 pound largies out of the weeds with a drop shot. But there was always options that you didn't have to do that. You could go another route in that, and that's the way I went. But I got out here, man. We have such the perfect storm, our waters, with high pressure, 25-foot viz, no grass, all structure. You get too close to these things. These smallies are smart, man, and they get lockjaw in a hurry. So you gotta really, you gotta pick up some form of finesse fishing in this state, or you're just gonna do what I been doing these past 3 years, which is just handing checks over to guys. And I'm just tired of that. I like these guys a lot, but I'm tired of buying them gear. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
I have a good friend, and he is a drop shot guru. He will sit out there all day, and that's all he'll do. And he hammers them. I always hopefully start out power fishing and catch them. If not, I usually turn to finesse jigs, or I'll even throw a Ned rig. I just cannot. I don't have the confidence in it. I don't know. I need to learn it. I really do, but.
I've had great days, and then I've had other days where it just didn't make any sense. But yeah, Ned, I'll throw Ned. Nico, I started playing around with last year. That worked out pretty well. But I'd prefer give me that finesse jig. That's still jig fishing. So, well, good stuff, man. So so let's talk real quick here. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring him in. He's been patiently waiting in the green room, and then we'll just have a good round table of talking here. Our next guest, also Team Nucanoe as well, fellow teammate of both Michael and myself. This guy's no stranger to the Doc Talk. He's been on with us a couple times, and he's no stranger to taking people's money, as I was just talking about, because he does this pretty well. Coming out of the great north, the great white north up there, Mr. Todd Martens. What's happening, buddy?
What's up, guys? What's up, Mr. Gene?
Too much, man. You like the drop shot, Todd?
No, it's a waste of time.
Thank you. You guys.
And I'm up in Wisconsin. I'm right on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin, and I mean we're the Great Lakes. We got Lake Sturgeon Bay. I mean you name it. All our lakes around here are 100 foot deep and crystal clear. And no, I still am not a fan of it.
So if it's a finesse bite, if that's the name of the game and that's going on, what's your go-to then?
Get Bit Baits tube, 2.75 tube. I love it, live by it, and that thing's cashed probably 90% of my tournaments. Is a tube, and I'm talking 4-pound test even sometimes, catching 5.5 pound smallies.
On a tube jig?
Yep. Give me my tube. Got a guy in Wisconsin that makes the kind of they're not secret anymore, but a little custom short shaft jig that goes inside these 2.25s or 2.75s, and I could drag all day.
That is awesome, man.
Well, it's very similar, I suppose, as far as the patience and the finesse and stuff like that. Yeah, but I learned how to fish in Texas. I'm a power fisherman. Give me braid and an 8-foot stick, and I'm happy.
Right?
Where I'm at.
I got an 8-footer on the kayak, man.
You got an 8-footer in there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Good night. I've got so back many moon ago, back in my boat days, I was with initially I was with Arc Rods and the Randall Tharp series. Oh, Honey Badger, he's got a series of rods out there, and that Gunnersville special that he had, a 7'11" rod, man. You want to talk about a pitching and flipping broom handle. Oh my gosh, the fish that I pulled out of thick cabbage in Minnesota with that thing.
Absolutely.
I couldn't even begin to think about trying to put it on. It's about as long as my kayak, it feels like.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, I only use it when I'm punching now. I mean, that's it.
Right. But that's one of the cool things with the Unlimited we can do is punch, because you can stand up in this thing, no problem. And you can sit there and get yourself a nice view of good mats and so forth if you get around.
Yeah, you know
them.
me. I'm not a small guy by any means, 6'1", 230 or whatever. And I run around that thing just like I did the front deck of my boat. I mean, I stand on the sides of it. I turn my 360 seat and put my feet in the water. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm not afraid of that thing going over.
I tell when we take guys out on our trips, the thing that during the safety briefing, I tell them, okay, so first golden rule, keep your shoulders between the gunnels. But I'm going to tell you this right now about the Unlimited. You'll fall out of it before you ever flip it.
100%.
Okay. So just remember that it is possible to fall out if you just get your weight, cattywampus. But no, our secondary stability is like standing on a dock, man. It's just when that thing locks in, it sits there. Yeah, I actually myself have sat on the side back when I was 250, Gene. I sat on the side of this thing and it sat in the water, basically like that, but it would not go the rest of the way.
No, it flexes, but I don't take water. Mm-mm.
Yep. Yeah, the only time I'm taking it is over the bow if it's chopped real
well, that
heavy,
I've
choppy.
done quite a bit, but like I said, we're hitting some of the big lakes, Lake Michigan, Sturgeon Bay. Even when we went down to 10 Killer for the championship last year, we were we were taking them over the bow. There was only a few of us out there, but we were taking them.
In West Virginia, Michael, what's the big water you're playing with down there? You got any, or is it a lot of more rivers and smaller water?
No, I'm a river fisherman at heart. That's what I grew up doing, chasing smallies, wading creeks. Susquehanna's 3.5 hours, so I make that trip as much as possible.
Wow.
But it's our big lakes here are puddles everywhere else. So.
Gotcha. That's kind of us here in Colorado too. We don't have real big. We got reservoirs. They're all man-made, and you got to watch out for the wind. That's about it. But
same here.
Nothing like the stuff that Todd gets to play with, especially up there around the Great Lakes. Man, that's serious big water.
Now I do go play on the Great Lakes too in the spring, spawn, chase smallies.
Oh yeah.
You guys do the St. Clair thing?
I do Erie.
Nice.
Erie. Yep,
Good.
we're known to. There's a few of us that live up here and go up by Door County every year, Sturgeon Bay, and yeah, it's not uncommon to go, a few miles out to hit the islands in the spring. There's islands out there in Door County, and yeah, it's a little haul to get out there, but man, it's fun.
I want to come out your way, Todd. I chase muskie in the spring and fall. In between chasing from a kayak, so
we got a fair share of them. That's the downside.
Awesome.
That's the downside of using the damn drop shot around here too. For some reason, I always catch my muskie on the lightest, smallest thing. I have muskie poles, muskie baits, you name it, and I'll catch more muskie in bass tournaments than I do going for them.
Same here. 2.5-inch little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robo worm. I caught, my biggest one was on robo worm. It was like 40, 45, 46 incher. And I was like, come on. And I was just being cheap. I was like, I'm not losing my drop shot. Like that tungsten drop weight. I was like, nope, I'm getting it. I landed that thing too in a kayak.
See, that's my walleye game. Every walleye, including the time I lived in Minnesota, every walleye I've ever caught there, here, anywhere around the country has never been on purpose. It's always been going for bass, and I catch walleye in there. I've never purposely sought in and gone out after walleye.
I will say the walleye in Mississippi River love that tube also.
I bet.
That lacrosse derby that we were at, that All-American last fall that you came out for, yep. I probably caught 30 walleye a day.
See, now,
mixed in with all the smallmouth that I've posted.
See, now I found all the pike. That was the bite that I was on because I screwed around and bought an expensive frog. I bought a lot of expensive frogs is what I did.
You need.
And of course, if I throw the $1.20, scum frog around, no pike. They don't care about that. I put that $13 flapper out there. Oh my Lord. I was assaulted by an army of pike. Yeah. They just destroyed. They knocked a hair lip into it. I mean, they beat the hell out of my gear, man. I'll tell you that right now.
Frogs and jackhammers. That's the two most popular things out there, and I throw neither.
Yeah.
It is. 90% of the anglers are throwing one of those two things, and they're catching a ton of fish. I mean, there's no doubt.
Yep.
I mean, you're catching 50 fish days, 30, 40, 50, depending, But, yeah, I lost too many back in the day, and now I'm like, I'll throw a frog rod in there just for the heck of it if it's in the middle of summer, but yeah, I'm still a main river. I'm a main river guy.
Frog. I won't tournament fish with a frog.
No, it's so risky.
Yeah.
Big risk, big reward, though, right?
It is.
The landing percentage it breaks my heart.
That's a tough one with me because I love throwing it, and that's a great area to throw it. But man, couple of the Bassmasters that came through. I think I got a third and a fourth. And the one was me and Tyler going back and forth on the same pad, throwing a freaking frog all day. And I was in the lead day one, and he passed me day two to win the whole thing. And I blame the frog. I knew better. 100%. I knew better than to do that, because you're losing 4 or 5 out of the 10 you're hooking into anyways. And it's just like, I throw a jig in there and I would have caught every one of them. Throw a D-bomb in there, whatever.
Yeah.
And I would have stuck every one of them. And it was just so fast and furious. It was fun. And you forget that, oh yeah, I'm fishing for first place trophy here again. And we're just having a ball. It was the three of us, actually. It was Lance Burris too. The three of us were just, almost touching each other's kayaks, just hammering on them for 3 days. So it was a good time.
Well, and that's the beauty about lacrosse. There's areas up there that can handle that pressure, and they'll reload the next day, man. It's, there's certain areas up there that are just magical that you can get into, and it's they're not known for the smallies that Susky is up in your neck of the woods, Mike. That thing is legendary out there. That's some serious footballs those things are eating.
Oh, yeah.
There. But Susky is also, if memory serves, a good place for muskie fishing too at the right time, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of muskie up here. Here in West Virginia and PA, really surrounding there, there's a lot of muskie. And West Virginia Division of Natural Resources have really shifted their focus from, we've always kind of been a trout state, but I've noticed a trend over the last 8-9 years of them turning their focus toward bringing muskie back. My whole life I grew up on the water. My grandparents had pontoon boats, and my dad had speedboats and bass boats. We've always been on the water, and I'd never even seen a muskie until I started chasing them about, 12 years ago, and didn't see many then. But the last 8 years, when they've started really stocking heavy, they've made a crazy comeback. And we obviously have a few big ones. My PB is a 53.5 incher, which is huge for West Virginia.
Ooh,
and
that's huge anywhere.
And that was in a kayak on a swim jig in a bass tournament.
Nice.
Right, Gene? I'm knocking the sides off of that thing.
Exactly.
And I've seen her come up beside of me, and there was a muskie tournament. There's some muskie guys, and I yelled at a couple younger kids. They were probably in 18, 19, fishing muskie tournament.
Mm-hmm.
There's a giant muskie just come by my boat over here. You guys might want to come and try to catch us. I'll move out of your way. And they literally was like, kayakers don't know nothing about muskie. And I was
right?
like, oh.
Yeah, we get that.
Slim jig in front of her, and she didn't even follow. She ate it as soon as it hit in front of her.
Wow.
And when I pulled her up out of the water, they had a different tune after that.
Yep.
Yeah, I hit a almost 11-pound striper that was basically like fish 6 out of fish that I was catching on a jerkbait right in front of a walleye boat up at Pueblo Reservoir. I'm in my kayak. I was in practice, and I was looking for smallies, and I come up on this point, and I'm gearing up to throw in for some smallies on a Ned rig, and I'm retying, and I hear behind me, it sounded like someone throws a rock in the water behind me. Well, behind me is just, deeper water. I spin around with that 360 seat, and I see the boil starting. It's a wiper boil that's happening. And I'm like, oh, I got it. It's practice time. I can't pass this up, right? So I stow the Ned rig, grab the jerk bait rod, pop this thing up, throw it out there, and like 1 or 2, tugs on it. Boom, hit like an 18. I basically start letting the water just basically float me into this cove. And I hit each one of them just progressively got bigger and bigger. And this walleye boat is kind of shadowing me, and they're watching me, and I can see that they're talking to each other there. And I hit finally this last one, and I'm running a medium, rig, and I got like 8 or 10 pound test. And so this thing is just pulling my drag, and I'm fighting this thing for at least a good 10 minutes. Finally, it tires out and rolls up next to the boat. And I'm like, I start yelling to myself, holy crap. I get this thing up, and these guys on the other side are like, holy crap, what the heck is that? So now they want to be buddies, and now they want to be pals with me. And they actually had a scale in their boat, which helped because I didn't. And I'm like, hey, make you a deal. I'll show you what I'm throwing if you weigh this thing for me. They were like, come on over. So, yeah.
They're fun, too.
Yeah, we have a decent population of them at the right time, and of course a jerkbait is always an easy thing to really. The thing I love about the wipers, the way they just smack whatever bait you have. There's no, I mean, they're trying to rip that pole out of your hands, man. That's
my favorite fish down in Guntersville. I don't even bass fish down there. I just look for the big stripers. Drive 18 hours or whatever it takes to get there, and just go fishing for stripers.
I was gonna say that's a haul for you, brother. That's not close.
That's fun though.
Lake Murray this spring for Bassmaster pre-fishing, I was in a pocket off of this point and had my active target on, was looking, and I thought for sure they were bass, and they were, but they was the wrong kind, and I tore up striking for about an hour and a half. And
I got ADD. When that thing start busting, I don't care what it is, I go for it.
Yeah. I was like,
you always forget. I mean, I forget. I'm like, oh man, that looks like fun. And same with those like 15, 20-pound drum in the Mississippi River. I know they're drum. I could see them on the live sonar. I see them coming by. I'm like, oh, but those are going to be fun. I'll flip a jig in there. It makes no sense. Yeah. The next 10 minutes of my life, it's pulling the Nucanoe around half a mile downstream on the Mississippi River, but I land it and I take a picture and it's great. And then I get back to going for smallies. And
that's awesome.
Right.
Like, damn, middle of a tournament. Yeah, that's right.
I need to stop doing this.
I do. People are like, what are you doing? I'm like, catching a drum.
It helps reset things, though. If you're having a long or slow day, it does help reset. You see something like that,
yeah,
you get in the boat, and it's like a whole renewed confidence. And
that's just what I was going to say. I mean, catching is catching to me personally, to be honest with you. It doesn't really matter. If I boat a fish, that means the execution was there, and I'll take that. Maybe I'm just fooling myself, but I'll take that boating. I caught it, presented, bang, and got it in the boat. Got it released. Everything was good. I take that as a confidence that rolls me forward. So if I'm catching fish, man, that's usually when I can be, I personally think that's when I can be in the dangerous zone, is if I start catching them, of some sort. Now, obviously you want to hone in on the right species, but still, that's you start feeling better in the head there for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to make a point here as well to just so Todd, let's talk real quick. The dealer for Nucanoe that's closest to you there is Rocktown Adventures. Is that correct?
Yeah, Rocktown Adventures in Rockford, Illinois.
Talk a little bit about these guys, what they're doing over there. It's a great group. And talk about people that know fishing. I mean, that is through and through.
Yeah, they got a great shop. They carry multiple brands also besides Nucanoe. They have, Old Town, Bonafide. I don't know if they brought in Wilderness. They had Jackson before. I think they got rid of it now. They switched it out with another one. Oh gosh, they have a bunch of recreational, like those long, skinny, like ocean-looking ones.
Yep.
Every type of equipment. They got Yakima, everything, Yak Attack and Yak Gear or Yak Gadget. NRS. Oh gosh, they have everything. Werner paddles.
They do bow fishing too, don't they? Or bow archery? Do they carry a lot of that?
Setup. They have just everything outdoors. They do hiking stuff. They do ski stuff in the winter skis, snowshoes. It's an outdoor adventure store, essentially, is what it is.
Nice.
And the guys that run it, Kevin and Travis, and then Brian. Well, I don't know. Brian doesn't hang out there as much as he used to, but there's so much knowledge, like local stuff. They do trips places. They go like Gatlinburg. They are down south. They go hiking Appalachian Trail. They do a bunch of outdoor adventures, is what it is.
That's awesome.
And they're right on the Rock River, which is nice. It's a local river here. It's okay for fishing, but it's right across the street essentially, and you can come in and demo a kayak. They have most of them available of all the popular ones.
Right.
And just if you want to get out, they have classes. I help do demos. We do fishing demos for them. The team members will come in and do demos on a local lake and show people how to fish and how our rigs are set up and et cetera. They do everything they can. They're trying to get more into the fishing world the last 2 or 3 years.
That's awesome.
So it was a lot of just recreation fun stuff before, but now it's, yeah.
Now on the Nucanoe side, the Flint's been known as our river boat, but that U10, man, is making some waves.
Yeah.
Like, that thing is such a cool little craft. That thing's got river written all over it. We have one here, and dude, that thing is so easy to move around. The thing is ridiculously stable. I don't like to paddle, and that's the only way I run this thing is I paddle that thing out, in these little ponds or whatever. And yeah, man, it's like, okay, this thing is easy to maneuver around, and I'm standing up in that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy crap, and I'm 6'1", over 200, and yeah, man, it's
I definitely
still
plan on
easy.
picking another one up, and a U10 up this time to add to the Nucanoe collection. But
Have you seen people starting to look at the U10s a little bit more on the riverside up there, or is it still the Flint kind of taking that?
Yeah, no, I think there's more people picking up U10s. Rocktown, like I said, we do all the big shows up here too. They said
Nice.
they're the main kayak area dealer, I would say, in pretty much southern Wisconsin to central Illinois, almost. To be honest with you, we're the main show
That's
up
awesome.
here. We do the big Chicagoland show, the outdoor show, and we do the Madison, Wisconsin Fishing Expo too. We do both.
That's a big one, yeah.
So we bring as many kayaks as we can, and we push I work both the shows as well, help out, and I push the Nucanoes, obviously.
Yep.
And the U10 is I think that's going to be a big player this year, and a lot of them.
I try to explain to people what the U10 is. It's the unlimited. It's got the same nose, the same booty. It just has a shorter torso. That's all it is. I mean, that boat, I can move my gear pod out of the unlimited right into the U10. Everything that mounts on my unlimited mounts on that thing over there.
Correct. Yep.
Cable link. That's the only trick, right? You just need to change up your cables for any steering or the pivot drive if you're going to put.
I don't remember if it was G or who was it? One of them put the NK300 on it, and we're getting 7.8 to 8 miles an hour on the U10.
I can't even imagine, because you'd go to try to make a turn, dog, on a 10-foot-10 kayak with that kind of thrust. I think you're trying to get wet.
I don't know if it was Guillermo or not, but I think it was. But it was just nuts. I was like 8 miles an hour. I was like, geez.
Yeah, that's.
I'm all for it. I want a gas motor. You know what I mean?
That's blowing the no wake limit right there. Because most are 5 mile an hour.
It's got to be close to playing at that speed.
And what's
I'm not happy. I'm not happy until I get on pad. So
I was going to say, what's Swindle always say? We're going to run on the plug.
Yep.
That's basically what you're going to be doing. That
I go fast enough, the water doesn't come in the scuppers.
Right.
You got to get above it.
That's right.
Now, Mike, in your neck of the woods, it's Sportsman's Emporium is the dealer that you're working with out there primarily.
Yeah.
That talk to us a little bit about these guys here. What they got going on over there?
So they originated as a boat shop, and Brent met up with Blake at an expo. I can't remember where he said the expo. I don't think it was ICAST. There was another expo he went to, and it was back in Nucanoe's, I guess, beginning, and he was very interested in kayaking at that time. He did everything fishing and travels quite a bit to fish, and just really wanted to find some kayaks for himself, and decided they'd be a great addition to his shop. So Nucanoe is where he got his foundation and actually being a kayak dealer. But since then, he's grown into bona fide native, and he does the NRS, Bending Branches, Yak Attack, still has the bow shop going. They're a fly rod and fly fishing specialty shop. They tie a lot of flies, musky flies, trout flies, steelhead stuff, and really it's he's still growing the kayak side of that quite a bit. And when I came on as one of his pro staff, and he sponsored me, and I really started trying to help really push helping him grow that and help him with his sales and just referring everybody I knew into that, and the customer service and knowledge. Michael Sturba, one of the guys that worked for him, is a kayak fisherman, tournament fisherman himself, and he runs kind of everything kayaking for him. So he knows the game very well for what we do. He does it himself and is very knowledgeable. So a lot of questions anybody would come in for across the board, from their bow shop to their kayaks, they've got you covered. So,
you know, I'm probably going to be picking your ear coming up here. But Militia Marine is coming on board as they're an established boat shop here in Fountain, Colorado, down south, and they're coming on as a new Nucanoe dealer for us. His desire is to get extremely active. He wants to embed himself with the kayak anglers in the state. He's an accomplished tournament angler himself. He's a U.S. Army combat vet. Great business there, and he's got a great reputation for having good service. I'm excited to get him going and to help them out. But, as we know, the market's, has had its downturn a little bit. And so it's going to be, interesting time. I've personally given him the advice that rigging and service, man, that's going to be the deal. Electronics always stumbles a lot of guys, and it just so happens that's kind of his specialty. So it's like, I think he's going to be just fine there. And I love the fact that he's got Nucanoe as his flagship, and we're going to do everything we can to help, rep with him out here and see if we can't, direct some people his way.
And I always think you get the best customer service from people that have the same passion as you do. You go in looking, or even new people looking to get into something, a hobby like that. If they share that passion, I think that comes across in the way they talk to somebody. And,
yes, sir.
And I think passion is really what drives a lot of people. And you talk to any of us, I think, about kayak fishing or kayaking in general. There's going to be a little twinkle light up in the eye. I mean, most of us that have it, we have it bad. So,
right. Speaking of having it bad, we got some guys here. My brother here is out in Havasu. He's practicing right now. Part of one of our main TPO team members, Mr. Matt Collins. He's tuning in. What's up, brother? Good line. Tight lines out there. Be safe. I know the wind was starting to blast them pretty heavy there in Havasu right now. I'll bet you that is a full field, man. The West has been buzzing when Bassmaster released that they were coming this way to finally showing, the Western anglers some love. That was super cool.
It better be.
not for nothing, dude. That's a 16 hour run even for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's way west. So that should have a lot of the Nevada guys, the California guys coming in.
I think this is like a test. I think it's like a test for those guys.
It's a good body of water to do it this time of year for sure. Another one of our team members here out of Missouri, he just picked up his Nucanoe Flint today. He's new to the deal. He's not new to kayaking or outdoors, but he just picked up from Bud's Baits down there in Joplin. They're a great Nucanoe dealer. Oh. And then our mutual buddy here, Mr. Jacob Ruff, he was saying that the bottom of his screen looked a little dirty, but he's like, wait, no, that's just Todd. That's what it was.
He's still hurting over that Packers loss.
I bet. Yeah. I may have danced a dance of joy when I saw the Packers lose.
Listen. I live up here by Wisconsin. I'm originally Dallas. Grew up outside of Dallas.
Wow.
I get beat up a lot, so I'm all alone up here.
Well, I'm a Bronco fan, dude, so all my beat up is self-imposed, right?
Hey,
I mean, that's
not. I don't know, man. I like Bo Nix. I like where they're headed. I like what they're doing.
Yep, me too. The fans are very happy with what happened this season, and they're still young. They got a lot of room to grow, and
exactly.
And Buffalo's they're here to play, man. So they are the team we're rooting for now in the playoffs. 100%. But although Detroit, how can you not root for that group, man? They're so blue collar.
At this point, absolutely, and I agree. I'd love to see Detroit go all the way. I really want to see Josh Allen in there too, though, and I'm not like a Buffalo Bills fan. I just think he deserves it. I mean, he's for a young quarterback, dude. He's an old school throwback. Yeah.
He'll take a broke arm and still get in there and take a snap. I mean, the guy's tough kid.
I want to see Bill Detroit. That's what I want to see in a couple weeks. That's my only personal opinion, though.
Right. How quickly we get derailed. From that. Football, that's all right.
What else do we do when it's single digits out and nothing? Hard water? I got hard water everywhere, every direction for 3 hours. I mean, and I don't like ice fishing. So.
we're getting another blast is coming in here. We don't really have hard water in the foothills, not safe hard water at least.
Yeah, they're driving trucks now on these things around here.
Yeah, you guys get serious up there. Are you guys freezing up out there at all, Michael?
Yeah, we have some hard water. Ice fishing, I mean, we have a few people that dabble in it. It's nothing like anywhere else. And we get ice thick enough you probably could drive a truck on.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, most of these hillbillies around here don't. We stay away.
Stay on shore.
I'm with the hillbillies. Trust me. Not interested.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like little towns out here. You get up in these lakes and little villages. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of ice shanties and guys cooking out and grilling, and I mean, it's wild. We have a club thing coming up with our Midwest Bass Club, and Jacob Ruff actually put that together. And I don't know how many people, hopefully 20, 30 guys are all from our kayak club. We're all going to show up and just have a cookout and ice fish and hang out.
Good night.
It's going to take a long time to cut a hole big enough for a kayak, isn't it?
Yeah,
right.
I'm like, I don't even own any ice fishing gear. I'm going to bring out there with the drop shot rod. What do I do?
I don't think that scupper hole's big enough to really get bait or a fish through, you know? So I just don't think it's going to work for me.
You can never be too cautious. Just sit in that thing, just in case.
Exactly. You know, I've got the ice armor gear from Clam Outdoors. I mean, they're the mothership company of All Terrain and Blackfish, you know, and I've been with them for a lot of years. So I got the ice armor, the flotation suit, the whole 9 yards, but that's just, you know, when it gets cold.
Yeah.
That's all I wear when it gets cold. I know I'm going to be nice and toasty. But yeah, ice is not, I got to go though. I got to at least try it once.
Yeah.
I'm not a beer drinker.
I grew up
right?
ice skating.
So
playing hockey, so the ice doesn't bother me. I used to love going play pond hockey, get out there on the lakes and stuff, but the ice fishing never stuck. It never stuck, just sitting there.
It just seemed like an excuse to drink beer, and I just I'm past that in my life. I just don't sit around and drink that much beer anymore, you know, to do that.
There you go.
Todd, you fish any of the national trails?
This year, I don't know, man. The schedule that came out is a rough one for me. It really is. It's I think the closest one's 14 or 15 hours is the closest one.
Yep.
So in the summer, I do make my own schedule. I still do work for a roofing company. I own my own part, and I could get away and go to them. It's just that's a lot. I got 2 little kids now. It's a lot, man. And I did it for, besides the kayak deal, I got 20 something years of doing this tournaments before they even brought in the kayak 4 years ago. So my wife's been very, very, very patient.
Well, and you have
them all, but when that schedule dropped, I draw an imaginary line from San Antonio north to Canadian border, and I don't cross that for fish. So
yep.
Well, and Todd, in your neck of the woods, you've got some great series up there with the Great Lakes.
Oh God, yeah, our local derbies we got Great Lakes Club, we got Midwest Kayak Fishing Club, we got a lot of good sized clubs, and this year they're actually doing a couple derbies where they're combining. Because we're trying, awesome. The ultimate goal, me and Jacob do Wisconsin Bass Nation. We're trying to build that the last 2 years also. A lot of the guys don't like to travel far, but they have no problem on it. Like our Wisconsin Open we had, I think 2 years ago, we had 117, 120 guys show up.
That's awesome.
So, we're doing good sized derbies for Wisconsin. Yeah. Problem is we have 3 or 4 clubs. And then we got the Minnesota boys that are right on the river, and then we got the Iowa guys that are right on the river. So when we do a river derby, we get 4 or 5 clubs that the majority of us will show up. We have some big derbies up here. It's just we need to get on one page. That's my pushing it. I'm always pushing it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I do miss, from that neck of the woods up there was just how much fishing is a part of life, right? It's dug in. In your neck of the woods, Mike, what's the local scene look like, or regional scene for you guys down there?
So we had 3 state clubs that all did fairly well, 70 members or so each. West Virginia's not that big, so they really overlapped, and everybody kind of went to everything.
Right.
John Knapp actually ran West Virginia Kayak Anglers, started that, ran that until he really retired and got just caught up in chasing his own fishing dream, getting on with paddle and fin and really growing Rusty Hook. And he's with Z Pro now, and he's doing big things. So nobody knocked him, obviously, for passing that torch to Greg Kupner, who did an outstanding job for several years. But Greg has a career as well, and at some point, when you're trying to run a club and a successful career and a family, I think it's a lot for anybody. So
Yeah.
they closed that down. That dropped us to 2. And then this year was 24 was the last year for Southern West Virginia Kayak Anglers. So we're down to 1 club now, Mountain State Kayak Anglers. And there was a Maryland club that was right on the border that several of us West Virginia boys would go and we would fish, because it was actually closer for me to go to those than most of the West Virginia clubs. I have some great bodies of water here by me, but they're really deep smallmouth predominant fisheries, or some rivers that are just a little faster than everybody wants, or we don't have a lot of public access to.
Right.
Even though a lot of it is public, there's just not a lot of launches and ramps, and that really hurts West Virginia.
Where's the new river at? Is that West Virginia?
Yeah, that's south. One of my favorite fisheries within the state, and the South Branch flows out of Virginia and Maryland down for.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And the South Branch is that's West Virginia's best kept secret, I think. But it's there's not many. It's got the same problem. There's not many public launches, so we're really handicapped by. And until we can really get a group and we have some big names come from here. I mean, Jody Queen's from here, Matt Ball's from here. We got Kyle Strother and Mikey Holcomb in the smallmouth side of things, and we have some hammers that really do come from here.
I think I met Kyle. I met Kyle last in the spring at the
he
10 killer
championship. Walked across the stage.
Yep. Yeah, I met him at the
he took 7th, and I mean, our fisheries, the few that we have, everybody here loves to fish, so they really get hammered and a lot of pressure. So, and I think that's why a lot of guys that come from West Virginia do so well, because if you're going to catch a fish around here of any size that's bigger than 13, 14 inches, you're going to have to put some work in and know what you're doing, because it's just not.
We have a similar, it's a West Coast thing that, catching the pressured fish out here, it puts you in a position where you have to learn how to fish in a specific way to really catch those. And so that's why a lot of our guys, I think, travel so well, is because these techniques work just about anywhere, that you can do.
Yeah. And I was surprised this year. 24 was my first year on a national circuit, and I chose it to be Bassmaster. Was in 9th for a while and dropped to 11th after I cracked my boat in Gunnersville and had to cut that a day short. That's really what led up to me saying, you know what, I think I'm going to go to Nucanoe. And
that'll do it when your boat cracks in half.
Yeah. And it was, I'll not get into the specifics. I don't
right. No.
about any company, but they just didn't stand behind their product like I thought they should. And it was a 3-month-old boat and been on the water twice, and it was a bad deal. But at the end of it all, I settled in 19th for the year. So for my first year in, I made a deal with my wife. I'm going to go Bassmaster, and I'm going to give it everything I got. I'm going to hit all of them. And if I don't have what it takes to do that, I'll quit spending so much money, and I will stay home and fish. Well, I settled in 19th, so now she's stuck with it. So.
That's right. Yep. That's right. So look, I want to kind of put you guys on the spot and go around here. I'll start this thing off. What I'm talking about is give you like 1 or 2 things about the Nucanoe, a specific boat or the company or whatever. What is it about? We are like unapologetically extremely proud to be a part of Team Nucanoe, and we're very grateful that we get to be on that national team out there. really, represent the brand, not only in our local market, but around anywhere we go in the country. To talk about them. For me, the two major things that really strike with me for Nucanoe. Number one, the stability of this unlimited platform. This thing is, I've been in some of the biggest, most expensive kayaks that are out there, all except maybe the XTR. I haven't been in that one just yet, but I will put our stability against any of the boats that are literally 2.5 times our price. We are as stable as they are. There's no question in my mind. When we're out there, stability was, first and foremost, because we take folks out that a lot of times have never been in a kayak. So I wanted to make sure they were going to be in a stable platform. The second thing that we're so proud about is just the company as a whole. The reputation they have for standing behind their product. I love the fact that they keep it mom and pops. They're about the angler, they're about the people, and customer service, is right at the heart of what Blake has built there.
Yep.
And we're proud to be a part of that. So those are our two biggest key points here. Let's go ahead and throw it around the room here. Todd, what's for you with Nucanoe? What's that? What are the things that drive you? With that whole piece there.
I mean, when I coming over from a bass boat side of things a few years back, I ordered my unlimited sight unseen. The local guys are like, man, they got this new one. It's stable. It's nuts. They sent me the video of it what Blake and Schiller had done. And I was like, yeah, I want that one. Just send it right to me. And,
That's awesome.
I got mine about a month before they were released, I believe. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I needed something stable. I said, I was so like, I don't know if I was afraid to fall in or whatever you want to call it, but I was like, no, I see all this. I'm like, a kayak? I'm like, I don't know, man. I got a 21-foot bass boat. I'm not going in. So I was,
right.
And I got that thing, fell in love with it. Just everything you can do with it. I mean, the gear pod, I still think the seat's great. I still have my original seat from 4 years ago.
That's awesome.
Still spinning around in circles, no issues. I mean, obviously the customer service, Rocktown's amazing. So, and then before Nucanoe switched out to, I think it's out. Where is it? Not West Virginia.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah. It left Wisconsin. It was local for us, so it was really nice.
Yep.
And that was a big part of it when I initially decided on Nucanoe. I was like, all right, I got a local kayak company. I know guys that are already in with them, Brian, etc. It was an easy decision for me. I was like, this is the one. This is all the crap you can throw on that thing. The amount of cracks I got. I mean, I went overboard right away. I won't say I was ahead of the game, but pretty much anything I had in my boat, I was like, oh, I need to have it on there. So
right?
I made the bow mount plate before Nucanoe came out with one. I already had one made. I had my Makota. I put my Makota on there right away. I was like, I mean, day one, tournament one, they're like, what the heck is that thing? I was like, oh, it's new in Nucanoe. It's coming out soon, It's got a trolling motor, spot lock, graphs. I mean, you name it. I had a micro power pole on the rear. I mean, everything. Yeah.
If you're like me, you started off, and then as the years click by, you start thinning it out. Yep. Realizing that, okay, this weight, I don't need all this weight anymore. I can thin some of these things back a little bit. That's what I've been doing with mine.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, this will be, year 4 of the same unlimited that came out. It was one of the original dozen of them or whatever, the first out of the mold. I've hit everything you can imagine in 20 different states. I run into it. I hit it. I've been blocked. I've hit dams. I've gone down water, rock. I mean, you name it, I've hit it, and I still don't have a leak. I don't have any issues. I don't have a couple gouges here and there, but I don't know. It's holding up to me, and I'm rough on my gear.
I've put
Mississippi River. You spent some time out there. I'm main river guy, so I'm hitting everything.
Yeah. I've put 3 years on mine, and I'm going to retire it to the fleet now. It'll be one of our fleet boats that we'll use, and we're changing out the boat for the first time.
I've been
for
stuck
myself.
on that for about 6 months. I'm like talking with Rocktown. I was like, I want to do a custom color. All right, just let us know which one you want to do. And I talk to my kids. I'm like, what about this color? What about that color? How about this one? I just can't make up my mind. So right now the whole thing's covered in mud because I use it for deer hunting too. I strip all that stuff off, That's another nice thing. It takes, 15 minutes?
Yep.
Everything's track mounted. Even the gear pod, I got the dual graphs. Everything's built into the gear pod. I unplug one thing off the yak power, throw it in the garage, and I'm out there deer hunting with a tree stand and deer cart on the rear.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Mike, how about you, man?
Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't think it's any one thing. The customer service since the beginning, even though it's short lived. I've not been with Nucanoe long, but I've been around Nucanoes, and again, Brian is a good friend of mine, and I have a lot of friends already on that side. Been trying to get me to come to the dark side for a little bit, but
the light.
Yeah, it's there's so many things. I will say that Nucanoe making their own accessories and the quality they put in to the foot steering, to the pod, to the motor brackets. You don't have to go to a third-party vendor that still makes great quality. There's a lot of vendors out there that make some great quality. I'm not knocking any of that, but Nucanoe making their own specifically for the boats that they're made for, and every bit of it that I've put my hands on, you can feel the quality. Like, there is no question that it is made to last. So, and them shipping out of North Carolina, obviously it's close, but I think what really got me was through talks of this and reaching out, and I leaned on Brian because he's been with Nucanoe for a while, and to be able to reach out and get a hold of Blake when you have a question.
Yes, sir.
To be that big and still that small, to be that involved within the company, that spoke volumes to me, and I knew I was home.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. I just had a email conversation with Blake and Brian this past week. And yeah, that means a lot, man, being able to chat with those guys direct.
Yeah.
Got a question coming in from the YouTube channel here. Our man Joey over here, he's got a question for you, Todd. Wants to know, are you going to be upgrading to that Kraken? You going to put the ultimate horsepower on that thing?
Oh, I don't know. I'm a Minn Kota guy, and
Gotcha.
I've always been a Minn Kota guy. I don't know. And now Nucanoe's offering Minn Kota, which I thought was freaking awesome. I've been pushing it for 4 years. I'm like, no, get rid of that XI3. Get a Minn Kota. I'm telling you, get a Minn Kota.
We got the power drive, and then it looks like what's the next one that we offer?
The
Tarova.
Yep.
Now the Tarova isn't the one with the auto deploy, is it?
No, that's an Altera.
That's the Altera. Yeah.
Altera. Yep.
Because I thought, now, there's something to that. The only thing that scares me is that when that a piece of electronics doesn't work, is there a mechanical deploy retract that you can do with that thing, or are you just
Altera?
stuck?
I don't think you can. Yeah, I think you're stuck with the Altera.
Yeah, see, I couldn't deal with that. I need to be able to know that I can move it.
I don't know how, but one guy at the last year's event that All-American had an Altera. That thing is like 60 pounds, or it's the heaviest one Minn Kota offers.
Yeah.
Like, how is that on the bow? I mean, of course, when I saw it, I was like, I want it, but I was like, oh man,
you got to get all that weight to the back, and shift things back if you're going to load that up.
But that new Kraken, I don't know, man. That's an amazing. It looks great. I'm hearing nothing but positive things besides the price tag. But it looks sweet. I know it's supposed to speed, the weight. I mean, everything about it's great.
Yep.
I'm a Minn Kota guy.
Mine's going to be. I still have my original Torpedo 1103, but I did find one of the last remaining brand new inbox motor got XS3, so that's what I'm going to throw on the Nucanoe this year, and this will be my first time with Spot Lock. I've been using that Torpedo. I'm dialed Torpedo. So.
Game changer, and I'm not just saying that term.
No, it truly is. I prefer the stern mount motor for the navigation and just overall. I prefer that, but that anchor mode. Dude, there is just no way around.
Depends on the type of angler you are, I guess. Yeah.
It's
depending on what type of angler you are, fisherman you are, whatever. I don't care if I go 4 miles an hour, 3.9, whatever, with the power drive or the Tarova. I don't care. I'm always the last one to get there, but For some reason, when I hit that button, I'm sitting there doing backflips and spinning around, eating a sandwich, holding my rod in the other hand, while these guys are backwards. Backwards.
I love the speed of my Torpedo, but realistically, the longer you do this, I never run it wide open anymore. I mean, I cruise at 4,
There you go.
4.5 maybe, and I feel like I'm going to be able to. I've got enough power. Got 200 amp hours going to be pushing this motor guide, so I think I can run wide open.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah. No, you'll be fine all day and then some.
Yeah, I run a 100 that powers the majority of my stuff, and I never get below like 50-60%, and that's if I'm even doing long runs at lots of throttle.
I only have an 80, and I'll burn that thing on high up and down the river. You name it. I've only ran out once ever, and that was because I tried going through that eel grass. I crossed Wisconsin and ended up in Iowa, and coming back, I ran out.
That'll do it. That eelgrass will eat it up fast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, listen, gentlemen, I can't thank you enough. As usual, anglers get together. We've been yapping. It's over an hour now, so we'll try to save the good conversations for down the road. But before, as we're heading out of here, what's 2025 looking for you, Mike? What do you got on deck? What are folks going to be tuning in to follow you with?
I am obviously not making Havasu, but I am going to hit all the rest of the Bassmasters, and I'm going to jump on board for the TKS. Gene Jen Fluke Master and Michael got that going. Got a teammate, well-known teammate. So I'm not going to say his name just yet because I didn't ask him if he wants anybody to know yet. But we'll be a force to be reckoned with, I assure you.
That's exciting. Good stuff, man. So Bassmaster will be following along with that, of course, and go check out Mike at his Facebook. We got the at address right there, and also on Instagram you can get him at Yakfish365. Good stuff. All right, Todd, what's this year 2025 holding for you, man?
I'll do all the local stuff again for sure. I know there's an All-American coming back to my
right.
You know where I'll be.
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. It conflicts with a local event we have at Lake Mac in Nebraska, which I was really excited to go to Lake Mac. But dude, it's lacrosse.
Yep.
And if there's any possible way, I'm on the way. And plus, it's the All-American. Are you kidding me? I would fish that entire series. If I didn't have the TPO, I would be fishing anything that Josh Booth is running. I'd be going to Missouri to fish Moyak. I love those guys. I believe in what he does there. Yeah. And it's such a great group that's out in that neck of the woods. But
I'm still hoping to make that Truman one coming up too, the championship.
Oh, the All-American Classic.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get down to that one. I know we haven't had to sign up yet, so I usually do pretty well there. I've had a couple top 10 finishes in that one, and that's always a fun one. We usually have a good group, 6, 7, 8 guys that camp and go down from the clubs up here. We just haven't really brought it up yet. As much as I want to do the Bassmasters, and I spoke with Steve too for a while because we're working on venues up here again to bring one back hopefully. And it'll be a tough one. If I do, I'm going to jackpot one or two that I think my best chances of running down there, grabbing a paycheck, and coming home. That's what I'm good at. Just show up to the random ones. I'm like, oh, I know that lake.
See you at Dale Hollow then?
Dale Hollow's amazing. God, I love Dale Hollow.
Me too.
It is.
I've never had a chance to get there yet.
No, I mean yeah.
I do.
You need to. That's one of the ones. Paddle and Finn does one in the spring too down there.
Yep.
They do in the spring. Yeah, they do in the spring every year. Yep.
I wanted to get down there last year to that event, but it didn't work out with our travel and such.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll probably just jump in that just like usual. I mean, we don't have the Hobie anymore, so I don't have to worry about hopping into one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bass Nation's going to be a tough one this year. Kissimmee is on my mind right now. I will say that. I was talking with another angler about, you want to go? Well, I've done very well down there in boat derbies. So, I mean, I'd love to jump in there.
that's the way to do it too, man, is split those costs, right? I mean, that's if
Yeah.
you're going to do something like that, if this, find a buddy you can travel with.
Yeah, most of the guys I fish with live 2 and 3 hours north of where I live, even. So pick me up on the way. I'll show you a spot or two.
This is my first Florida fishing trip ever, so I'm excited.
It'd be a good time. That'll be
Wow.
a good time and a good time to be there too in the Kissimmee chain for sure.
I feel like it fits my style for largemouth, though. I like the grass. I like it shallow.
Yeah. As long as you don't get what they call a cold front, 60 degrees, and the fish shut down, then you'll have a good time.
We were just talking that earlier, exactly.
Yeah.
60, and it's like, ooh, burr, shut up.
I'm not wearing shorts in 20. Come on.
Right?
That's shorts weather up here.
I'll be in shorts there if it's 60.
Oh,
Right.
100%. I'm barely wearing shorts.
Good stuff. All right, boys. Well, listen, man, thank you so very much for coming on our little show like this. Any chance, to spread the Nucanoe love and with fellow team members like yourselves, this is it's an awesome deal. Appreciate you guys so very much, and we'll definitely be looking forward to having you back on for some more stuff. Maybe we'll talk about some checks that you're cashing, and when hey, Mike, when it comes time to release that team deal there, let me know, man. We'd love to have you on the show, you and your team member, whoever the well-known name is. We'll glad he's probably been on my show. I have an idea, and I think he's been on the show before. So
Maybe he's a national champion.
yeah.
Nucanoe? A Nucanoe
No.
team? Oh,
Not-
okay.
No.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no worries. Well, listen, gentlemen, thank you so very much. I'm going to go see if I can grab me some supper here. I think it's getting cooked up downstairs. And
Pleasure, buddy.
all right, thank you guys so very much. You guys take care, and I'll get with you here right after we roll off air here.
Perfect. Thanks again, Gene.
All right, folks at home, you know the routine here. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. If you're listening to us on the live side, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching this recorded, thank you very much. And of course, the audio platforms. Check us out at Heroes Media Group, where we can be seen out there. The subscribe is one of the best ways you can help support the TPO and the Mission and the Doc Talk podcast. As always, folks, next week's episode will be on Tuesday again, and this one will be recorded next week. We'll have another Team Nucanoe member, Mr. Buzz Beerline. He'll be coming in, and we had a great conversation with him that will be airing. That'll be next Tuesday at 7 Central. Tune in right here, same bat channel, same bat station. As always, folks, tight lines, be safe. And I did it again. That's the wrong intro.